Should we go directly to the topic or no? Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Govind ji ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ji ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshtari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Right, so I'd like to thank VIG and Prashanta Mataji for everything, right, for giving an opportunity to discuss Shastra. So I had taken this topic last time also with some variation. I'm just presenting it again. Mataji, please feel free to give your invaluable comments in between. No, no. Oh, it's not 11:10 sutras. Okay, fine, doesn't matter. Fine. So these are some sutras. Everybody knows what is sutra. Huh? Sutra means something which has a lot of substance, but it is put in very few words, condensed. Just like Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Hmm? Janmadiyasya Yataha. Huh? Huh? Like formula. Like formula. Sutra is like formula. Yeah. So this is not an exhaustive list. This is just my own list, which I've just compiled from what I have learned from Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. Hmm. So it's not an exhaustive list, and plus, so something else can also be there. Huh? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah. Can you just go ahead? Yes. Yeah. Just go on clicking. Yeah. So these are some of the things which we are going to discuss. Understanding the meaning and importance of self-control. Endeavor plus Krishna's mercy equals success. From goodness to pure goodness. Increase the mode of goodness and decrease other modes. Never be alone with the mind. Increase spiritual strength to increase self-control. Careful devotional service. Next. Yeah, enough, yes. So the other five are balancing everything. Too much or too little engagement are both hindrances to self-control. Self-control is best maintained by avoiding situations that require self-control. Avoid all kinds of offenses. Ninth is choosing Shreya or Preya by developing a higher taste. Tenth is being a missionary, having two supreme goals in life. So, till what time do you?
We go till 9 o'clock. Last time it took you 2 classes to cover all this.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Huh? Let's see. Friday, somebody must be scheduled already, no? Right. So, we'll try to cover in this one session only, as far as possible. Right. This PPT is available. Right. I'll share later. Okay. Yes, please. Let's not waste time. So, understanding the sutra number one, understanding meaning and importance of self-control. So, this is from the NOI Nectar of Instruction preface. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. So, this is the meaning of self-control. What is the meaning of self-control here? We're talking about control of the mind and senses. Control of the mind and senses. So, unless one, right, Srila Prabhupada is saying here, unless one controls its minds and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Very clear. No ambiguities, right? Nothing is vague, right? So this is, right, it's not that this is different from devotional service, right? No. So this has to be done. Vacho Vegam, Mansa Krodha Vegam. So Nectar of Instruction also starts with that, isn't it? Seventh verse is chanting Hare Krishna. But before that, other things are also being mentioned. Right? Yes, yes, yes. So one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Of course, we don't endeavor to have any other method other than devotional service for controlling the mind and senses. But while doing devotional service, we take care of these things, right? Atyahara, prayasasya, prajalpa. Yes. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so can somebody please read this? This is Srila Prabhupada on self-control. This is a lecture in Vrindavan. Right, Sri Vrindavan. Yes, anybody?
Nidrahara Viharakadi Vijitam. This is Goswami. Goswami does not mean Godasa. Go means senses and Dasa means servant. If we keep the title Goswami and become servant of the senses, it is cheating. You must be Goswami means you must be master of the senses. Self-control.
So again, Srila Prabhupada is using the word self-control here. So self-control means what? Goswami, master of the senses, not master of the, what is the servant of the senses. Very clear. Yes. Let's go ahead. Yes. Somebody can please read. Somebody else?
Without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, and without being fully obedient, no one can become successful in following the instructions of the spiritual master, and without doing so, no one is able to go back to Godhead.
So we have to take every word very seriously here. Srila Prabhupada's purports, every word has to be taken seriously. Without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, and without being fully obedient, no one can become successful in following the instructions of the spiritual master. And without doing so, no one is able to go back to Godhead. Right? We can see the connection here. We can see the connection between self-control, discipline, being obedient. Hmm? Right? So in order to become successful in following instructions, spiritual master, these qualities are required. Self-control, self-discipline. Yeah. We can actually see that these qualities, self-control is important even in the material world. Don't go ahead. Before I'll tell you. Right. So even before, even in the external world also, you can see one small, not small, but one small incident. Right. We can see one example. Just recently happened. The Spanish woman football federation president. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Louis Rubals or something like that. Have you heard? No? Right, so Spain, this woman football team, they won the World Cup. They won the World Cup. And the president of the team, just imagine what is his position now. His team has won the World Cup. And it is on the ground, just right after the match, there is a celebration. Right? And in the celebration, the president, he is actually kind of congratulating his team. Now this guy, he just couldn't, he had no self-control. He just embraced one of the woman footballer, team. One of the team members, right on the ground, in front of the whole world. The whole world is watching. At least the non-devotees are watching. Right? So, just maybe few seconds, he just embraced her, and it was over. And the whole thing was recorded, and then this Mataji, she objected, and it became such a huge affair that the whole of Spain practically became against this person. Right? All the football team members and become it blew up everywhere. Very big, kind of. So what did he do? He was at the pinnacle of his career. Few moments, just embraced her. Finished. His career is finished, his reputation is finished, everything finished. He had to resign. Right. So there are many instances like that also. So even in the external world also, self-control is required. That's why being a devotee helps. If when devotees, they know the importance of self-control. Right? So therefore these tips, are actually relevant even for non-devotees. In the sense that if they take up devotional service, then even it will help them in their careers. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead. Sutra number 2. Endeavor plus Krishna's mercy equals success. Right? So we know this formula. Damodar Leela. Right? And so many other examples can be given. One has to endeavor. Right? And then, if we get Krishna's mercy, then we can be successful in our spiritual endeavors. Right? So there's a very beautiful purport given by Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur. Next slide. Yeah. So somebody can read this please loudly. This is the commentary to 6.20 to 23. Bhagavad Gita. Yes, please.
Though I cannot attain it quickly, certainly I can attain this yoga. By such certainty, one should practice. One should not be discouraged, saying, after such a long time, I have not achieved perfection. What is the use of all this hard work? Anirvinna, shit.
Anirvinna chetasa.
One should practice with mind convinced. What is this to me? Let me attain perfection in this life or in the next.
Gaudapada.
Has given an example.
You can read the just English.
Okay. One should gradually control the mind without complaining. Though it is like taking drops of water from the ocean to dry it up with a tip of a kusha.
Yeah, you can just see this. Right, so this is the commentary to 6.20 to 23. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving. So he's saying, though I cannot attain it quickly, certainly I can attain this yoga. This is the determination which one should have. Right, so one should not be discouraged, saying, after such a long time, I have not achieved perfection. What is the use of all this hard work? Everybody is working hard. Devotees, I mean to say. Right? We are doing so much to attain perfection. Right? So, what should be the attitude? One should not be discouraged. One should practice with mind convinced. What is it to me? Let me attain perfection in this life or in the next. But I will continue. Right? Yeah. So, one should gradually control the mind without complaining. Though it is like what? Taking drops of water from the ocean to dry it up with the tip of a kusha grass. Can you, right? It's inconceivable. Huh? Right. So example, sparrow example, right? Yeah, next. Yes. Somebody else, please read loudly.
There is a story to explain this. The ocean stole. Sorry, somebody else.
The ocean stole with its strong waves the eggs of a bird which was situated on the ocean's shore. Determined to dry up the ocean, the bird took one drop of water at a time using its beak. The ocean being emptied of many drops, but the bird's beak was not at all affected. Though discouraged by Narada, who happened to come there, the bird again made the promise in front of him. In this life or the next, I will dry up the ocean. Then merciful Narada, by the will of the Lord, sent Garuda to help the bird, saying, the ocean has disrespected you by offending your relative, this small bird. The ocean, becoming dried up by the wind coming from Garuda's flapping wings, became frightened and then returned the eggs to the bird.
Thus, one should be convinced that the Lord will bestow His mercy on the resolute person who enthusiastically begins yoga, jnana or bhakti with faith in the words of scriptures. This is the conclusion, right? We can see, first of all, what do we learn from this sparrow example? The sparrow is saying to Narada, he though discouraged by Narada, because Narad Muni is definitely taking, testing the sparrow's determination. So what was the sparrow telling him? This bird again made the promise in front of him, in this life or the next, I will dry up the ocean. Determined, in this life or the next, I will dry up the ocean. Right? So then, seeing that determination, then what happened? Then Narad Muni, right? He felt, yes, this person is determined, this bird is determined, let me help this bird. So same thing happens. When we are determined, then our spiritual masters, they'll bless us. Senior devotees, they bless us and they pray for us. Right? And then, right, when they pray for us, then we are recommended. Once we are recommended, then things become easy. Garuda came, for Garuda, it is not a big thing. Right? Yes. Thus, one should be convinced that the Lord will bestow His mercy on the resolute person who enthusiastically begins yoga, jnana or bhakti with faith in the words of scriptures. One should never lose faith in the words of scriptures. Come what may, there will be obstacles. There will be obstacles, severe obstacles, depending upon our practice also. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's read. White is better, I think. White background. Huh? Okay. Fine. Somebody's not read before?
Just like the cloud covers the sunshine, we cannot see. Now a few days it is going on. There is cloud always. We do not see the sun. That does not mean there is no sun in the sky. So Maya does not allow us to see Krishna. That is one Shakti. Avaranatmika Shakti. And another Shakti is Prakshepatmika Shakti. Even one desires to see Krishna, she throws away. She tests whether actually he wants Krishna or keeping Krishna in the front, he wants some material pleasure. Therefore, she throws away. In this way, Maya Shakti is acting. Krishna therefore says, Daivi yeshi gunamayi mama maya durakeya. Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Maya is very powerful, but if one is very rigid in devotional service, mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarakite, he can overcome the influence of Maya.
So this is in a lecture, actually. I should have quoted that lecture. We can get the details. So in the lecture, right, Srila Prabhupada is very clearly saying, even one desires to see Krishna, she throws away. That means even if one wants to surrender, even if one wants to, right, so we begin our devotional service, we are doing devotional service, but what? She throws away. Prakshekatmika Shakti. Avaranatmika means she covers, we cannot see Krishna. And Prakshekatmika, she throws. She'll test. She tests whether actually he wants Krishna or keeping Krishna in the front, he wants some material pleasure. So even we may not know what are our own intentions sometimes, because right, things are mixed, our desires are mixed. So we may not know. So Maya tests. Because Maya wants to make sure that no unqualified soul goes to the spiritual world. So she will thoroughly test. Right? So therefore she throws. So what is the point? So then Srila Prabhupada gives a solution also. What is the solution here? Huh?
Very rigidly accomplished.
But Srila Prabhupada is saying, but if one is very rigid in devotional service, this is the key. But if one is very rigid in devotional service, not in the middle, rigid in devotional service, he can overcome the influence of Maya. Right? So key is also given, solution is also given. Right? The thing is actually, Maya can read our minds. She is given the ability. She can access all our desires. And she makes arrangements to test us. Right? If we are thinking of gulab jamun, then 1 o'clock or 1:30, whatever is prasadam time, gulab jamun will be ready in front of us. She can read our mind. She knows how we want to enjoy. Right? One time, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was sitting in front of a devotee, and the devotee was going on eating gulab jamun. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, he is eating the gulab jamun or the gulab jamun is eating him. Nothing against gulab jamun. And so we have to know that Maya can make an offer which we cannot refuse. She'll try to make an offer which we cannot refuse. She knows. So therefore, one has to be very, very careful. Yeah. Okay, Surta number 3. From goodness to pure goodness, increase the mode of goodness and decrease other modes. So different kinds of lifestyles devotees can live. Devotees can live a lifestyle which is in the mode of ignorance. even devotees, right? Kapil Muni describes devotional service in the mode of ignorance, devotional service in the mode of passion, devotional service in the mode of goodness, and pure devotional service. Four types of devotional service are described in third canto Bhagavatam. So different lifestyles we can lead. So based on what kind of lifestyle we are leading, ignorance, passion, or goodness, different types of results will be there. 14th chapter we just finished actually in Bhakti Shastri. We're just discussing this. Right, so the whole chapter is meant, what is the message in the whole chapter? The message is reject passion and ignorance. Come to the platform of goodness. So devotees are expected to at least practice on the mode of, practice devotional service in the level of goodness. Right? So many things are there to learn about the modes. So many subtle things are also there. Gross and subtle both are there. So one must actually, right, keep in mind these things. So symptoms of passion and ignorance are also, they should be known so that we can identify them and reject them. Identify and reject them. Otherwise you'll fall prey. Right? So the goal is devotional service, but knowledge about the modes is what? Alright, we had discussed an example that if there is a minefield, you have to get to the other side. But there is a minefield, so you have to know where all the mines are planted. Otherwise, boom. Right? Or there's a flood and you have to reach the roof, house roof. At that time, the role of the ladder is very important. Ladder is not the goal, but it's important because without the ladder, you won't reach the roof. So knowledge about the three modes, very important. So discriminating between ignorance, passion and goodness, knowing the symptoms, knowing the results of each mode, right? So one should maintain one's, so Srila Prabhupada, so many quotes are there on this. Let's see, right, yeah, so somebody can read who's not read before.
Everyone within this material world is engrossed in modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, sattva guna, by following the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed.
Again, nectar of instruction, preface. Right? Very clear. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness. So this is an instruction being given to devotees and everybody else, of course. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, sattva-guna. How? By following the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami in nectar of instruction. And then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed within the heart. Right. Yes, very clear. There are many quotes like this. Srila Prabhupada saying, right, one has to practice on the level of goodness. Right? In ISKCON we talk about being Brahminical, Brahmana, Brahman Diksha. What does it mean? Coming to the level of goodness, practicing devotional service, at least on the level of goodness. Yes. Yeah. So how to develop goodness? So this is one very important verse from the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Somebody can read the translation.
According to the quality of religious scriptures, water, one's association with one's children or with people in general, the particular place, the time, activities, birth, meditation, chanting of mantras, and purificatory rituals, the modes of nature become differently prominent.
Yeah, so there's some factors, 10 factors are given here. Agamo, apa, praja, desha, kala, karma, janma, dhyana, mantra, samskara. Right, so all these 10 things, they can be in ignorance, they can be done in goodness, they can be done in passion. or depending upon how they are performed, in which mode, accordingly results we will get. If we are living in a place which is in ignorance, then we are bound to be affected by that. Therefore, residence in a temple or making the house as a temple is recommended. Right? Otherwise, in general, city is mode of passion, forest is mode of goodness, and where the four regulative principles are broken, that's ignorance. And transcendental is, right, temple is considered transcendental place. So like that, so many factors are there. What we read, or scriptures also, because scriptures are also there in the different modes. Right, scriptures are there for people in different modes. So, then food and water. Right? So these are the factors. One's association. Time, different periods of the time are also, that's why Brahma Muhurta is the best. Then one's Janma. Janma means what? The condition, right? What mode we were in last birth. In what mode we left our bodies. Will continue, right? So therefore there are different types of children. This child in the mode of ignorance, child, right? Like that. Different types of children, because last life. So that's conditioning. Janma means conditioning from last life. But which can be changed by what? So there's always a choice. There's always a choice. Choice to choose goodness. And devotional service helps us, right, to choose. Srila Prabhupada says in many places that by coming to devotional service, then we can develop the mode of goodness very easily. Yeah. Sorry? I said by practicing devotional service, one can cultivate the mode of goodness very easily. Srila Prabhupada says that, 14th chapter. Okay, yes. Sutra number 4, right? Never be alone with the mind. Somebody says, I want to be alone. You are never alone. There's one person always there with you. Who? Our mind. Right? As long as we are conditioned, mind is the greatest enemy. So you are never alone. You are always with your greatest enemy. Now imagine you are with your greatest enemy alone. Very bad situation. Anyway with your greatest enemy, always. But if there are other devotees, then there is help. In the association of devotees, greatest enemy is easy to control. As soon as somebody is alone, the mind starts acting in a weird way. Suddenly becomes super powerful. So therefore, never be alone with the mind. As far as possible, always be in the association of devotees. Sometimes devotees think that I'll sit in some corner in Vrindavan and I'll chant 192 rounds every day like Haridas Thakur. I'll do solitary bhajan. So many devotees, sometimes they don't understand this. So this is a very wrong decision to take. It's not recommended by our acharyas, by Guru Sadhu Shastra at all. So always be in the association of devotees. Yes. Yeah, next. Sutra number 5. Increase spiritual strength to increase self-control. Right? So perform careful devotional service. Right? 7th verse again, Srila Rupa Goswami says, right? The jaundice is there, but by carefully chanting, kintu adarat. That word is what? Sanskrit word is Kintu adharat. Adharat means what? Carefully, carefully. Otherwise, that verse is that Bahu Janme Kare Yadi Shavan Kirtan Tabe na pao Krishna Pade Prema. Carefully performing, not simply performing. Carefully performing. So increase spiritual strength. So what is spiritual strength? So whatever angas of devotional service we perform, we get strength. Spiritual strength. Starting from Guru Pada Ashraya, starting from taking shelter of the spiritual master. Right? All whatever is performed carefully, that gives us spiritual strength. Right? So you can see this is a picture of Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur. Right? So Maya Devi, he was tested many times. Once a prostitute came, and second time in his cave, Maya Devi herself came to test him. Right? For testing us, Maya Devi doesn't come personally. Doesn't need to. One mobile is enough. But Haridas Thakur, personally, Maya Devi came to test. But he passed the test. How did he pass the test? Spiritual strength. Right? So let us read this. Right? Third chapter, 43rd verse. Srila Prabhupada's translation. Yeah, somebody can not read before? Somebody?
Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intention, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust.
You see, these words are given by Srila Prabhupada, and thus by spiritual strength. Yeah, by deliberate, one should study the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, and thus by spiritual strength. What is it which makes us vulnerable to Maya? No. Lack of spiritual strength. That's all. Lack of Balaram. Balaram, right? Bala. That spiritual strength is lacking. That's like COVID. Virus is everywhere. But what keeps us safe? Germs are there, everything, right? So, what keeps us safe? Our immunity. Our immunity. That strength to resist, which is there within the body. So, Maya is everywhere. But what can keep us safe? Spiritual strength. Spiritual strength, which comes from carefully performed devotional service. Yes. Yeah, next. Right, okay. So this, what is this elephant doing in the middle of this session? Right. So this is just a picture I put for balance. You can see there, very difficult for an elephant to balance. Right, so, so what is balancing everything? Too much or too little engagement are both hindrances to self-control. So we know what is the idle mind is a devil's workshop. As soon as you have time means, right, that's a problem. If you have nothing to do means, right, what happens to the mind? If you're just sitting down, what happens after some time? The mind naturally tends to go towards sense gratification. So therefore engagement of the senses is important. At the same time, if there is too much engagement, what happens? We get stressed out. Right? This happens to a lot of devotees who are working outside and also, or sometimes even full-time also. If you have too much engagement, too stressed out, too many services, too many projects. If you're compromising on sadhana because of too much services, or you're trying to balance both and it's becoming too much, you're overstressed, then what does the mind say? Mind says, enough. I'm too stressed out. I need some relaxation now. I need some sense gratification. So this happens to a lot of leaders also. Too much, too much, too much, and then, yeah. So one has to be very careful about that. Yeah. These are some practical tips. Huh? Yeah. Sutra number 7. Yes. Somebody please read.
Emperor Bharata provides a typical example of detachment. He had everything enjoyable in the material world, but he left it. This means that detachment does not mean artificially keeping oneself aloof and apart from the allurements of attachment. Even in the presence of such allurements, if one can remain unattracted by material attachment is called detachment. In the beginning of the course, a neophyte devotee must try to keep himself apart from all forms of alluring attachment. But the real position of the material devotee is that even in the presence of all allurements, he is not at all attracted. This is the actual creation of the detachment. Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 18.
So the nectar of devotion. Srila Prabhupada is saying this. So we can see here, Srila Prabhupada is giving the example of Bharat Maharaj and saying that even in the presence of such allurements, if one can remain unattracted by mental attachments, so how is that possible? Spiritual strength. Hmm? But if one does not have one is not spiritually strong. One has a lack of spiritual strength. Means basically neophyte devotee. So what does Srila Prabhupada say for that? In the beginning, of course, a neophyte devotee must try to keep himself apart from all kinds of alluring attachments. We don't have spiritual strength and then we go out to places to preach or to whatever, which requires a lot of spiritual strength, then what happens? Yes. Huh? Then there is trouble. Hmm? So, self control is best maintained by avoiding situations that require self control. Sometimes new devotees and youths and all, right? One youth, he came to me in Bombay and said, I have decided I'll go to beer bars and preach. Right. So I told him, uh, this is a recipe for trouble. So self-control is best maintained by avoiding situations, being careful about not being in situations where self-control is required. Right? Yeah. Okay, next. Sutra number 8. Avoid all kinds of offenses. Right? So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Sri Bhajan Rahasya, chapter 2, he mentions there are 4 types of offenses. Offenses to the holy name, Nama Parad. To the Lord's deity form, Seva Aparad, to devotees, Vaishnava Aparad, and to other living entities, Jiva Aparad. Even non-devotees, one should not commit offenses. One should not harass them. Oh, this is non-devotee, no problem. Right. So Nama Aparad, Seva Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad, Jiva Aparad. And then, of course, there's Dham Aparad, if you're staying in the Dham. So avoid all kinds of offenses. Careful devotional service, avoiding all kinds of offenses, avoiding intentional sins, also very important. Unintentionally, we perform so many sins, right? That's a different thing. But avoiding intentional sins, 4 regulatory principles. So, avoiding all kinds of offenses. So, of most dangerous is Vaishnava Aparad. of all the offenses, most dangerous is Vaishnava Aparadh. So let us see something on Vaishnava Aparadh. Huh? Yeah. So this is case number 1, right? Some 2-3 cases we can take. Huh? Right? So we can learn so much from this Sachi Mata case. Okay, somebody please read.
One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting on the throne of Vishnu in the house of Srivas Prabhu. And in a mood of his own, he said, "My mother has offended the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya. Unless she nullifies this offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, it will not be possible for her to achieve love of Krishna." Hearing this, all the devotees went to bring Advaita Acharya there. While coming to see the Lord, Advaita Acharya was glorifying the characteristics of Mother Sachi Devi. And thus, upon arriving, he fell down on the ground in ecstasy. Then, under the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, Sachi Devi took advantage of this situation to touch Advaita Acharya's lotus feet. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very much pleased by his mother's action, and he said, "Now, my mother's offense at the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya has been rectified, and she may have love of Krishna without difficulty." By this example, Lord Chaitanya taught everyone that although one may be very much advanced in Krishna consciousness, if one offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, his advancement will not bear fruit. We should therefore be very cautious not to offend a Vaishnava. CCRD 17.
This is the Adi Leela, 17th chapter, 10th verse. Srila Prabhupada is giving this purport. So, what can we learn from this? Anybody, please? Right, if we commit Vaishnava Aparadh, right, yes, we won't be able to achieve love of Godhead, yes, Krishna Prema, yes. What else can we learn?
One interesting point that I noticed is that simply by touching his feet, her aparat was rectified.
Right, yes. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu devised a way because Sachi Mata was saying, actually Advaita Acharya also considers me as mother because I am your mother. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we'll make a plan. I'll show him my form as a Supreme Personality, as Krishna. And then when he's bowing down, right, at that time you come from behind and take the dust. So he devised a plan. So he wanted that to happen. Yes. Yeah. What else can we learn from this?
Even the mother of God can always spare from the reaction.
Exactly. Well, Mother of God. Right? Who can be more exalted than Mother of God? The Mother of God is not spared. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not saying, "Oh, you are mother, no problem, you can do anything." No. So by this he is showing, by this example, Lord Chaitanya taught everyone that although one may be very advanced in Krishna, if one offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, his advancement will not bear fruit. Yes.
It's written that Advaita Acharya was glorifying the characteristics of Mother Sachi Devi.
Yes.
So, seemingly, Advaita Acharya didn't take any offense, but still the offense was
Yes,
committed.
exactly. Even though Advaita Acharya did not come, right? So what was the offense? Right? It's given that Sachi Mata thought that my elder son, Vishwarupa, actually, because of Advaita Acharya, he took sannyas. So he was thinking like that, within the mind. So this is, right, we can, one more lesson which we can learn is, even if the offense is just within the mind, one will not achieve the goal of life. Vaishnava is so severe. Yes.
Maybe we can add a morning program to touch everyone's feet.
Well, the dust is all over. We can take it from the right. So it's also said that when somebody is performing sense gratification, one is looking away from Krishna. But if one is performing Vaishnava Aparadh, Krishna looks away from him. Right, so case 2, right? We can learn some cases, yes. I hope you can read somebody. Somebody's not read before, anybody?
The powerful Vaishnava Daksha Prajapati case. Though the Lord mercifully showed Daksha his form after Daksha had praised him and had given him instructions, he cast Daksha onto the path of karma and material enjoyment, and not into the sweet ocean of his prema. That is because the influence of his offense to his great devotee Shiva had not been completely removed.
You can read the rest also, yes, yes.
All the devotees like Dhruva, though having material desires, desired bhakti. But Daksha did not desire bhakti. Therefore, the Lord did not give him bhakti. This is the nature of the traces of offense.
Right, so Daksha Prajapati case. So very clearly it is being given here. The Lord, so Daksha Prajapati had darshan of the Lord. In one sense, the Lord was pleased with him and gave him benedictions. So what he gave him benedictions on the path of karma and material enjoyment, instead of giving him the sweet ocean of his prema. Why? That is because the influence of his offense to his great devotee Shiva had not been completely removed. So traces remained. Now this is right. So the whole episode is that Daksha Prajapati's head is cut and goat head is put, and then Daksha Prajapati with his goat head he glorifies Lord Shiva and all. But even after that, this is a case. Right, from the next paragraph, all the devotees like Dhruva, though having material desires, desired bhakti. But Daksha did not desire bhakti. Therefore, the Lord did not give him. This is the nature of traces of offense. So, because of the traces of offense committed to Lord Shiva, Daksha did not desire bhakti. Did not desire bhakti. And very serious business. Right. Yeah. I think the font is very. Huh? Can the screen be enlarged? Moving the projector backwards, maybe. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Okay. This one is small font. Anybody who can read. Huh?
The power of Vaishnava Aparadha. Daksha Prajapati case. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Narada Muni of saintly conduct, when he was thus cursed by Prajapati Daksha, accepted the curse. Though capable of cursing Daksha, he tolerated him, since that is the nature of a saintly person. Narada accepted the curse means that he was capable of
Countering.
counter the cursing, but he did not because he was saintly. Narada came to give Daksha mercy when he heard the criticism of the Daksha. Why did Narada did not leave the place? This was Narada's intention. Controlled by anger, let him criticize a lot. Let him curse. This is the result of anger. When his anger subsides, he will see that I did not criticize him or curse him in return and tolerated everything. Then he will repent that he was criticized and cursed a devotee of the Lord. Like the Kumaras, when they went to the gates of Vaikuntha, then he will be then he will be a suitable field for sowing the seed of bhakti. I will then go and sow the seed of pure bhakti in him. Thinking in this way, Narada remained there for the proper moment. But seeing that Daksha was not repentant, he then left, remembering, oh, what power of the remnants of the offense to Shiva have.
Right, so we can see here Narad Muni wanted to preach to Daksha Prajapati. So he devised a strategy. What was the strategy? So even though Daksha Prajapati cursed him, he did not counter curse. Narad Muni had the power to counter curse. Intentionally he didn't do it. Why he didn't do it? He thought there'll be a change of heart. Daksha will be repentant. Why Daksha will be repentant? Daksha will see that, oh, Narad Muni could have counter cursed me, but he didn't counter curse me. So seeing this, Daksha Prajapati's heart will change. And that proper moment, Narad Muni is saying, I will sow the seed of bhakti in him. Pure bhakti in him. But Narad Muni's strategy failed. Why did it fail?
Because offenses.
Narad Muni understood why did it fail. This is Daksha was not repentant. Why? Because of the remnants of offense to Lord Shiva.
This is after that Leela. that
Yeah,
Leela.
yeah.
After getting goat's head.
Yes, 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 yes.
Still
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, next. There are other cases also. There's one case study is Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni. Right. So we'll read this little bit. Saubhari Muni also. What can we learn from Saubhari Muni episode?
offended Garuda.
He offended Garuda. And what happened? As a result, what happened? Got attracted to by watching the fish. He must have watched the fish for 1,000 years. Nothing happened. He was in the water for a long time. Nothing happened. He was not affected. But as soon as he committed Vaishnava Prad, attraction to material enjoyment. So one of the results, there are so many results of Vaishnava Prad. Materially, spiritually. So what happened? Irresistible attraction to material enjoyment. Saubhari Muni. So when we offend, we are trying to have self-control. We're trying to have mind and sense control. Because mind and sense control are required in devotional service. But as soon as we offend, irresistible attraction will be there. Can't resist it. Saubhari Muni got up, right? Went and married 50 princesses. Poof. Right? Okay, yes.
The power of Vaishnava Aparadha. True, the devotee does not have any obstacle arising from time and karma. However, there are two types of obstacle for the devotees. That caused by great offense and that caused by the Lord's desire. Great offense is pacified over a long time after undergoing appropriate difficulties or is quickly removed by the mercy of great devotees. The Lord's desire means to teach proper conduct to the devotee, and the obstacle arising from the Lord's desire only increases prema in the devotee. An example is Bharata. Since Priyavrata did not commit offense, his obstacle arose by the desire of the Lord.
Yeah. So this is in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.1.5, the activities of Priyavat Maharaj. So very important information being given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here. So what is he saying? A devotee does not have any obstacle arising from time and karma. Krishna takes care. Aham tam sarva papebhyo. Moksheshami mahasuchaha. However, there are two types of obstacle for the devotees. What is that? That caused by great offense and that caused by the Lord's desire. Lord's desire is there to teach something to the devotee. But great offense, right? One of the obstacles is what? Great offense. And what is the information being given? Great offense is specified over a long time after undergoing appropriate difficulties. Long time, appropriate difficulties. Or if the attitude is good while undergoing difficulties, then what can happen? It can be quickly removed by the mercy of great devotee. By serving great devotees and by having a proper attitude and all, can be quickly removed by the mercy of great devotees. Yeah? Okay. Yes. Ninth. Seems finally we are finishing this. Okay, fine. But we would like to have some invaluable inputs from Prashanta Maharaj. I'll quickly finish this. Right. Sutra number 9, choosing Shreya or Preya by developing a higher taste. This is also very important for self-control, mind control, sense control. Preya means what? Short-term gains, immediate enjoyment. So if we want immediate pleasure, immediate enjoyment, then we are in trouble. Right? So one should choose Shreya. Shreya means what? Long-term gain. Long-term gain is what? The goal of life, Krishna Prema. These are long-term gains. Right? So choosing Shreya or Preya by developing higher taste. By developing higher taste means by being situated in bhakti. By being situated in bhakti. So one should be careful not to run after. Basically being mode of passion. Mode of passion is like that. Immediate enjoyment. Yeah. Yeah. So delaying gratification. This is the main thing. Shreya also means delaying gratification. Right? Mode of goodness means what? Poison in the beginning. So one has to drink that poison in the beginning. To have nectar in the end. Preya and Shreya are in opposite directions. Preya is simply not worth it. Minuscule pleasure but an ocean of grief. Maya just cheats. Right? Maya has an advertising department. Right? She makes everything attractive and all. Advertising, this is how the advertisement catches. It's very attractive. They show all the miseries of life in such a way that they all seem attractive. And then what happens? One gets attracted and then Maya teaches. Oh. Right? So ocean of grief is there and some little pleasure is there. It's just not worth it. Right? Just like this example is there that one is attracted by a painting. So trying to enjoy material pleasure means one wants that painting, but what is the payment, what is the cost you have to give for that painting? You have to give your eyes. Is it worth? In order to enjoy the painting, what is the price? Give your eyes. Material pleasure only in anticipation. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy. Oh, this is going to happen. This is how I'm going to enjoy. This is how I'm going to enjoy. And then when it finally happens, oh, I was expecting so much. And then, this is it. This is all. This is all I get. Disappointment, frustration. And not only that, I can only so little and for so much work I have to do. That's why material pleasure miserable to attain, miserable to maintain, and miserable when lost. Misery in the beginning, misery in the middle, and misery in the end. Right. Okay. Over promising but under delivering. Yes. Okay. Next sutra number 10. Right. So this is also very important. Right. Janma sharthak kari karo paropkar. Every devotee, Bharat Bhumite Manusya Janma hoile jar. Janma sharthak kari karo paropkar. And all devotees, they're born in India only. Devotional service begins in, right, from India only. Right, so So everybody, all devotees must have this Janma Sharthak Kari Karo Paropkar. This is something, this is a direct instruction of the Lord. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Amara Agya Guru Hana Tare Desh. So just, it's not, we shouldn't just think of going back home, back to God ourselves. In the process of going, right, we should also, right, in fact, the process of going is also preaching. Preaching is also a part of sadhana. So some way or the other one should preach. It depends, right? Someone can preach like Hanuman. Someone can preach like the squirrel. Right? So depending upon one's own Shakti, Yatha Shakti. But something should be done. This mood should be there. Right? So one can distribute books. One can do variety of course, everything in ISKCON is actually preaching. Because it's a preaching movement. Yeah. Okay. So I'll stop here. I was planning to stop earlier so that we could hear more from Prashanta Mataji, but please, Mataji.
No, no, Prabhu, it's a very nice presentation.
Thank you for the encouragement.
It's reminding me of something. It's reminding me of some story of Prabhupada disciple. I remember, I think her name was Gauri. She had come to Vrindavan to leave her body, and she was in her last moments. Devotees were there surrounding her, and she was kind of semi-conscious. And then at some point in her semi-conscious state, she started saying, no, 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 no. And so the devotees asked, what is it? You know, why are you saying no? And she said that she was from Los Angeles, I believe, and she said, I was just remembering some specific dish that I used to like so much in the restaurant, in the Govindas. I remember a dish that I liked so much, and I was feeling the desire to enjoy that. And so, but then I thought, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't want to go back there. I don't want. If I pursue in that direction of this desire, I will take birth and I will go there to get that thing. So it's not worth it. No, she said, no, it's not worth it. So fortunate we are when we come to this conclusion that it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Okay, so that's one thing that I was remembering. Otherwise, so many wonderful points are in this presentation. I was actually thinking that maybe we could develop this presentation further. So that it becomes more and more practical with application, exercises and all for the devotees.
Yeah, it'll be nice, yes.
To actually train us up in actually getting through this self-control, which is so difficult. Everybody is struggling with this somehow.
Yes.
And so it would be very nice to develop it further. I think I want to make it part of one of our courses that are to come as a training for the devotees.
I can share the PPT just
Yes.
immediately. Yes.
It will require just diving further into all these beautiful points that you have made and adding some exercises, some interactive, some
Yes.
discussion.
Yes, it'll be very nice.
Various things so that we get deeper and deeper to the core
Right.
of one's personal troubles.
Yes, right.
And the important point I liked in this presentation is that self-control is not different from bhakti.
Right.
In one sense, yes, it is a little bit, we could say it is something different, it's secondary, because we engage in bhakti, but you pointed out that we control the senses by engagement in bhakti, nothing different.
Right.
We should not make a mistake, in fact, in self-control. And sometimes there are some mistakes that are being made because this self-control is particularly practiced by the jnanis.
Yes.
And so there are so many instructions that we find here and there, sometimes which are not meant for devotees. They are meant for jnanis. And their way to control is to stop. It's not to engage. So it's very dangerous for the devotees. We should learn to control the senses via the method that Rupa Goswami has given. Yukta Vairagya.
Yukta
We have to engage everything in devotional service. And that's the only way that we can win over this powerful stream of
Right.
power of the senses and power of the mind. So we should be very careful not to stress stopping the senses.
Yes.
Because this doesn't work ultimately.
It doesn't work, yes.
And it will backfire. And we have seen that many times, how it backfires. So it's an art, how to simply engage in devotional service, as you said, with faith. There were some affirmations that you gave at some point. I will succeed.
Right.
I think we should really write it down. I will succeed. Now, when, that is a question.
Yes.
But that conviction that,
Yes.
I'm appealing to Krishna. How will he not hear me?
Right.
Because of my lack of sincerity, it may take time. But this conviction that I will succeed, Sparam Vijayate, Shri Krishna Sankirtana,
Right.
that should be
Yes.
Shri Radha Govinda ki.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these were very, very good points that we heard today. Okay, let's see whether the devotees have questions, comments.
When things we desire brought to us, when things we desire brought to us, how can you discriminate there is bias offering or Krishna's favor? Because sometimes it's very subtle and tricky. Seemingly what we desire seems like favorable to our devotional service. So how can we discriminate this for Maya or Krishna?
Mataji, you would like to?
What is the question? How to distinguish whether it's a favor of Krishna
Or from Maya, when
it's an offer of Maya?
yes, when things we desire are brought to us.
Yeah. I think it is anything is judged by the result. So we have to see what is the effect of what we are getting, And sometimes it may be too late by the time you get the effect. Then only you understand who it came from,
Right.
where it came from.
Right.
But what we always advise is you take advice from others. You can check with other devotees. You check with your spiritual master. You do some serious introspection, and that usually, as we heard, the devotees are our saviors, and sometimes we are not able to see something very obvious, but others are, they see it immediately because they don't have the self-interest that we have, and they are not covered by the desires that we have. So I think we should take, we have to take advice, we have to take guidance. That's what can save us. Because on our own, when the intelligence becomes blurred due to the presence of some material desires, um, which is the time when we get this offer from Maya, is because we are desiring something. Only someone who is free from the desires, Mukunda, one who is free from the desires only can have a clear vision. And so taking shelter of the devotees and our guides, that is, I would say, the way to understand whether it's Krishna or Maya.
So I'll just like to add a little bit.
Yes.
Like Mataji gave the example of Gauri Mataji, right? So she likes something, some dish in Govinda's restaurant, right? So just imagine if the same dish was brought in front of her at that time. But even before that, just the thought came and she said, no. Right? So in one sense, we know also. We know that I was thinking about this and now this has appeared. It's a trap. Falena parishite. This is what Mataji said. That this opportunity for sense gratification has appeared in front of me. Right? So any opportunity for sense gratification is a trap. Right? So therefore one uses one's intelligence to discriminate between this is what this is meant for, right? So there is one extreme case also of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? So one day Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur just had a desire of having milk, and several liters of milk were suddenly donated by somebody. So, and it was offered to the deities and then brought to him. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur started thinking, okay, how's this? I was just desiring milk in the morning. So he was just thinking like that. Then he was thinking, is this a desire for sense gratification? Even Acharya is thinking. Right? This is an extreme example, of course, right? But at the same time, right, so we can learn from it. That even prasadam items also, right? Even Mahaprasadam. Even nectar of instruction also, Prabhupada says that if somebody thinks this is Mahaprasad, then every day I'll take a whole plate of palatable, rich Mahaprasad. Because it is Mahaprasad, there is no problem. Then Srila Prabhupada says one will fall prey to sense enjoyment. So one has to use one's intelligence in that sense. Yes. Again, falena parichite. What will be the result of this? Yes.
So, Doctor, whatever desires we have, whatever we wish for, and if it happens, either it is in the thoughts only, like
Right.
like some dish or something, or something, any material desire,
Yes.
and it gets fulfilled.
Hmm.
So you think that it is, we should think that it is like the mercy of Maya,
It could be.
and if it is something devotional,
Ha.
like I want to stick very strictly follow some
Right. Right.
austerities or
Yes.
some
Yes.
rules,
Yes.
and if that happens,
Yes.
then it is mercy of Krishna.
Right. Whatever the result again, whatever object or whatever situation is going to take us towards Krishna, there's no doubt about it. Right? But even within that, one should be very careful. The mind is so clever that the mind, right, can justify. No, this plate of Mahaprasadam is going to make you more Krishna conscious. So one has to be very careful in discriminating. Uh, right, how Mataji said that basically it is sincerity. It is sincerity. So there are subtle things happening. Mind is very clever in justifying. This will help you. Go ahead. Right? Yeah. Yes. Mataji would like to share something.
No, no, nothing.
I haven't seen as much.
Okay, just we'll take. Yeah.
Um, Thank you for the lecture. I would like to understand what is the difference between aparadha. So it's like a tricky thing for me not to do aparadha. And for example, if you say no to someone and someone will not be happy, so is it aparadha? It's easy to be manipulated, if you don't understand the difference.
Mataji?
Can you repeat the question? You should answer.
The question of aparadha, type of offense, and for example, if you say no to someone and this someone maybe is not happy, so am I doing aparadha? So how to understand the difference, not to be manipulated, into something.
I want your answer.
Every question you can please you can answer first.
Then you can correct me.
No. That'll be great offense.
Yeah, there are so many situations in the life. I think that Krishna also sees the intentions of the people. If somebody comes to us with some kind of covert intentions and we manage to not fall for it, and then the person gets displeased, I don't see where is the offense here. Krishna is, seeing through the heart of the people, and he knows why we are doing things. So, the offense comes when we displease somebody who is really well intended and, you know, then, but if somebody is ill intended or if somebody is causing us trouble, even if it's well intended, and we are simply defending ourselves, keeping ourselves safe, so where is the offense there? That must be my answer.
No additions. I completely agree with whatever Mataji says. Yes. Right, Prabhu, yes.
So, just like to ask for some clarification. When the gulab jamun does appear on our plate, do we reject it as an offer of Maya?
No.
Or do we take it because it's Krishna Prasada?
Mataji's answer is no. See, the gulab jamun is not the problem. The problem is, right? And how mode of goodness can change to to passion and ignorance, right? So sometimes I've seen devotees what they do on a feast day or something. Let's say that mm, maybe spaghetti is made, and there are 10 more items, right? So it has happened with me. Somebody is sitting right next to me, and one item comes. Says, no, I don't want. 9 items they come, and and then when spaghetti comes, put more. Go on putting. Because I like spaghetti, so you just go on eating, and eating. So gulab jamun is not a problem. One gulab jamun, no problem. 2 gulab jamun, no problem. But when you go on eating, then things change. Then it becomes a problem, right? If somebody is eating in right quantity, with the proper right prasadam has to be honored, right? Not enjoyed in that sense, right? Enjoyment is there definitely when we are eating, right, Mahaprabhu? But that, yes, Mataji, yes.
Yeah, life is tricky. One time I met one devotee whose name was Ashtashaki. So everything she took was always in 8 numbers. She never ate one time, that was already 8. Because she was Ashtashaki, that's it. So the mind is sometimes, I mean, it could have been her transcendental state of mind. I think she was also a little transcendental. But still, so many tricks come in the mind,
Right,
to
right.
induce us to actually enjoy it. All the time. It's going on all the time.
Right, right.
A little bit of
Hare
more of
Krishna.
this, a little bit more of that.
Hare Krishna.
Right. Who's that?
Guest.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah, so we have to be very careful whether to accept or not to accept. And our motto is always, I'm a servant of Krishna. So whatever we accept has to be for the service of Krishna. So that's the analysis that has to go on. Where is the service? Where is the service in my acceptance of anything? Where is the service? Is it for Krishna or is it for myself? I think this is the simple testing question. But of course, it's difficult because the mind, the desires, they blur the consciousness. But if you start asking this question, is it a service or is it not a service? And as long as you can turn it into a service, then you are kind of safe. But you have to find the service. And sometimes it's not there. It's not a service that you can understand it. It's not. There is no service there.
Right.
And if there is no service, then it means it's Maya.
Right. Prasad Sevaya.
Yes, Sevaya.
Sevaya. Once His Holiness Badrinarayan Maharaj, he was sharing that he had gone to some program and all, right? And so one of the dishes was his favorite. So he said it, he had named it, I forgot. So, so he said, let me have one. So he had one. So he said, then my mind said, this is your favorite. You can take another one. So he said, I took another one. So then my mind said, actually this dish is not available everywhere. You won't get it later on. You should take one more. So he took one more. Then Maharaj said that anyway I had taken 3. Let me take one more. Let me satisfy fully. So Maharaj said, I took 4, 5. And then Maharaj said, at the middle of the night I got up with intense pain in my stomach. And then the same mind which was telling me to take more started telling me, why did you take more? Why did you take more? Yes. Okay, yes.
I don't have any question. I just want to appreciate the class.
Thank you.
This is the second time I'm hearing the class.
Yes.
There are 3 things that that affected me positively. One was do not go where you know that there's danger. So it's not only for the senses, but also I have been practicing this that if there's a situation which I know it's not going to turn out favorably, I just try not to go there. The second is delaying sense gratification. This was very nice. And the last one was this one, being a missionary. It was very nice, these 3 points that Mataji talked about, making it part of the course. So I really appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Should we stop here, Malji?
Yes, Shadam is ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Yes, thank you for those who came today and to participate in this class. Very interesting, always to learn all these things. Very useful for our practice, useful for our devotional life. So please come again and again.
I'm reminding myself of all these things. In the association, reminding oneself in the association of devotees. It's always good, yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai,
jai.
jai,
Srila Bhakti ki
Jai,
jai.
jai, jai.
Goswami Pad ki
Jai.
jai. Srila Maharaj ki
Jai.
jai.